I have another that will have everything, including the chicken sink. The chicken sink. The kitchen sink. It's June and summer has arrived with 100-degree temperatures here in Central Texas. At my house, that means one thing. It's time to start cooking with the crock pot. Today I'm using the crock pot to make chicken tacos. Thanks for joining me. Alright, I know this looks like a lot, but I don't measure. This is something that I literally just throw in a little bit of this and a little bit of that until it looks good. This is just a way that I've found of making it flavorful and delicious, and my family loves it this way, so this is the way I keep doing it. First thing, I have my dried chopped onions, and I just sprinkle some in the bottom of my crock pot. Just kind of scattered about. I'll try to estimate amounts as I go so that you kind of get an idea. So that's number one. Now I also have some lower sodium taco seasoning. Again, I'm just going to sprinkle some across the bottom. Next, I'm going to pour in just a little bit of water, and I swirl so that everything mixes, and then I add a little bit of liquid smoke, and I will pour in about a ½ teaspoon, and I give it a little swirl because, you know, why dirty up a spoon when you can just swirl it. Next, if you have bouillon cubes, add a cube of chicken bouillon. If you don't, just a bit of better than bouillon. I plop that in the middle of the crock pot, and then the bag of frozen boneless, skinless chicken breast, and I just layer those around that chicken bouillon that's in there, pumping up the flavor with a little bit of chicken fajita seasoning. Sprinkle that over the chicken. Have a little bit of tahini. I love tahini, and I'm going to sprinkle that just very lightly over the chicken. Do just a quick grind of pepper and a little bit more taco seasoning. Now you can use as much or as little taco seasoning as your family likes. In my family, we have a variety of heat and spice levels, so I tend to go a little bit more on the milder side, a little bit less. More chicken going around over the top there, and you're probably wondering, why is she using 3 pounds of chicken? The reason is I want leftover meat. We'll have chicken tacos tonight. In a couple of nights, I will make something else with the leftover chicken. Okay, now I'm going to add more taco seasoning, and I'm going to sprinkle it on top, because these are not down in that broth so that they can soak it up, so they're going to get the majority of their flavor from what I put on top. And then the extra flavor will come later when I shred the meat, put it back into the broth, and let it cook for a little while longer. I've used about half of my envelope of taco seasoning, so however many teaspoons, tablespoons full that is, that's what I've done. Add another sprinkle of tahini over the top, and I like that because of the extra lime and other flavors that the tahini has. So a little bit of that. Again, going to add just a little sprinkle here of the fajita and another little bit of pepper over the top. Y'all, that's it. Lid on. I will turn it on to high to start. I'll let this go for about an hour, maybe 2 on high, and then I will turn it down to low and let it cook for the rest of the day on low. I said There is an easier way to make this, and there is. And there's a reason why I don't do it that way. So let me tell you the other way to make it, and then I'll tell you why I don't do it that way. The easier way is put your chicken in there, put your taco seasoning in there, let it cook. Maybe add a little bit of water. Let it cook all day, shred it, put it back in. You add a jar salsa to it, mix it up, let it, cook on low for a little while longer, get those flavors blending, and you're done. If you live in a house like mine, that's not going to work, because different people in my house like different flavors of salsa. They like different heat levels of the salsa, or they absolutely refuse to eat salsa. So we kind of cover the whole spectrum. So I make the chicken with just lots of flavor, but not a lot of heat. And then I put out a little bit of everything. So there you go. That's what you do. Okay, the chicken has been cooking all day. Now it's time to take it out of the crock pot and shred it and put it back in. It's up to you how you want to get it out. I have a little slotted spoon, spatula type thing that I use. That way I can drain the broth and just pull out the chicken. Not really straining, but then again, I'm kind of straining some of the stuff out of the broth. All right. And now, because there is so much broth in here, I'm going to dip some of that out, put it in a measuring cup, and then after I put the chicken in, if it needs a little bit more moisture, then I can just pour it back in. I don't want to throw it away until I know that I don't need it any longer. And because the chicken was frozen and because I added some water in here at the beginning, there's a lot of broth in this. Okay, I took out just slightly more than half of the broth that was in there. It smells good, but I think I'm going to add just a little bit of taco seasoning just to make sure that it's really well flavored. So maybe another teaspoon or so of the taco seasoning. I'll stir that in because I do want this to dissolve. And for the fun of it, why not add a little Tajin? So a little sprinkle of that in there. Another quick stir. And now it's just time to start shredding. And I will take each piece individually. I'll make sure that all the skin and all the fat is off, and then I'll just shred it and dump it back in there. So let's get going on that. Just like when I make pulled pork, my preference is to use a couple of forks when I'm shredding it, so that if I do see any skin or any fat in there, I can get it out and it doesn't end up in the meat and then in my taco. If you have good luck shredding your chicken with your mixer or with one of those claw things, then do what works for you. This is what works for me. It's already soaked up all of the broth that I left in there, so I'm going to add some more. Now it's nice and moist, and I still have the heat on to cook those juices in and all that flavor in. Okay, here's all of the chicken. It has been shredded. It's back in the broth. Let's give it a taste. Fresh fork. And right now I'm just tasting to make sure that it has enough salt, enough seasoning to it, and that it will be ready to serve once I finish putting out everything that we put on our chicken tacos. Absolutely perfect, does not need another thing. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure and give it a big thumbs up. If you've not already, please do subscribe, and while you're there, hit the notification bell. And please, if you enjoyed it and think some of your friends and family would like to see how to make chicken tacos, please hit that share button down there and share it with all your friends and family too. Thanks for joining me today. God bless.